Okay, we will now make a video here explaining everything how you edit a video. In this video I will edit one video with you, explain everything, and yeah, that's about it. In this document you have everything written down, easier in parts with more information. For example, here are some channels where you can source footage from. Okay, let's start and go right into it. We have looked up a video right here. It has enough views, and since it is only been uploaded 20 hours ago, yeah, that's pretty recent. There is no comparison to the channel average, but this is a very good analytics right here.
Just 2 hours
But we won't copy this video one-to-one because there's captions in front of everything, and there is speech.
Recent Air India crash.
But the likes match and the comments match, so we can take this video. So what we'll do is make a screenshot of everything with Shift Windows key S and paste it on Google search. So here, paste it with Control V, and then we'll be here. So it is looking after a lot of videos concerning which don't have these subtitles, because this guy did the same. He got the original clip that way. Okay, so we'll look at it. Let's look. This sounds promising. We'll click at it with Control left click. Okay, we have it. Here's a part 2. Here's some signs. It is cropped. We won't take this version. Okay, let's click at the next one. For example, this one. Oh no, here are captions. We don't want that. We'll click on the next one. Let's scroll down. Facebook is sometimes nice, but nah, that's not the same. Okay, let's click on this TikTok link here. Oh, we have a bigger list. Okay, let's click on this one, and no, captions. We don't want captions. Okay, next one.
Look at everyone.
It has captions.
100%.
In some context we could blur them. So in this context, I think it would be okay. You could take this clip. You see it's a bit zoomed in, but this clip would be the worst that is okay to take. But I know there are better clips. The other one had the same. Okay, Daily Star. Let's look. It's only an image. We don't want that. Okay, next one. You guys talking, but you have to watch a bit because I think they are just commentating. Okay, let's wait a second.
Happily.
Yeah, and here.
Just about to taxi.
Here's the clip. We'll take that, take the link, shift copy. If it's a TikTok link, you should just use any TikTok downloader like ssdict.io. If it's another video, just use Stasher. Paste the link. I already did it. Highest quality of video and audio, and yeah, you'll find it in your downloads folder, which is here. And yeah, what we'll do with that is take it, shift copy, and make a new folder. So for me, I name my folders how I like. You can do the same. We'll create a new folder with new and folder, but also there's another way. You can make a folder by pressing Ctrl, Shift, and N. We'll name it 099 airplane bad India, because the airplane that crashed a few days ago was Indian and it had some issues. Paste the video right here, and the next step is creating the script. In this case, we have already the script because we have a source video, as you can see here.
Just 2 hours before
He's basically giving us the script, but because of copyright, we have to make something different about this script. So this is what we are gonna do. So what we'll do is we'll copy this and get a transcript and put it into Tactic.io. Tactic.io. This didn't work. Okay, so then we go to the second link, which is different. It is called YouTube to transcript.com. Get free transcript. It's loading. Copy transcript. Okay, now we have it. And we can go to ChatGPT. Paste it. Okay, look at it. There is a lot of text which comes from the guy who's speaking. I think we can let it in, but we would have to say to ChatGPT in this case that this isn't really part of the script. It should be generating that it's the part of the clip, the voice of the clip. Okay, so now we'll go into the Word document, scroll down, and this is a commentary video. There is like some voice and then a clip. This is the basic of commentary clips. So we'll paste it and insert the stuff. And maybe say here in the context there is the script and the stuff that is said in the clip, which is very important if the transcript includes some words which aren't part of the spoken script, like in this
the
case.
recent Air
This,
India
what he's
crash, a
saying right
passenger
now,
phoned the
is the
cabin
script,
Still not working at today.
and this is the stuff he's saying. So we can paste it in ChatGPT. If it's not working properly, cut this out in the prompt, and then you'll get a good version. Okay, let's go back to ChatGPT and see what it cooks up. We get 5 hook options. We look at them. This passenger filmed a warning just 2 hours before the crash. Okay, that's interesting. What he captured on this Air India flight feels like a red flag. That's boring. 2 hours before disaster, this is what the cabin looked like. It's also boring because it assumes that the watcher already knows about this crash. Imagine sweating in a broken plane hours before it crashes. It's better. This clip didn't age well, and it might explain a lot. Interesting, but I think the first one is the best in this case. I would delete the 3 dots, but it's basically okay. This passenger filmed a warning is the best. So we'll go to the main part. Just 2 hours before the Air India crash, passenger filmed this. No air conditioning, no lights, no response from the crew. At a cabin full of frustrated people in 40 degrees Celsius heat, nothing was working, not even the call button. Is this just bad luck or a sign of deeper issues, or a sign that deeper issues are being ignored? Sorry for my language, but this stuff here is the last thing that is happening. So this is said at the end. This is weird because it has really short sentences and it's just 2 hours before the Air India crash. Filmed this, and this long dot, it's not that great. So say redo it, but redo it. Just redo it so it will give us a tighter and more natural version. This is good. We'll take it. Two hours before the Air India crash, a passenger filmed this. The AC was off, the call button didn't work, the cabin lights were dead. And in the brutal Delhi heat, people were sweating with no answers from the crew. He ends the video by saying, "This is why Air India is considered one of the worst airlines." This is... No. It is clip, voiceover, then clip. So this is completely wrong, because it's already spoilering everything, and we don't want spoilers in the main part. So redo it. Remember the structure is hook, speech, clip, question. Okay. So what is he cooking up now? Just 2 hours before the crash, a passenger started recording. The cabin was hot, the AC wasn't working, lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding. What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight, it hits different. Wow. This is a really, really, really good speech for the clip. So try this, and I think it will work. Okay. Let's go on. In the document, it's explained how we set up ElevenLabs. Paste this. We wanted to take this hook. This hook was really good because it builds anticipation, which is the most important thing. Because the passenger recorded a warning. Warning is a keyword. What is happening? Help. The people want to see what the warning is about. 2 hours before the crash. Really interesting. What is the crash? What happened before the crash? What are the reasons for the crash? So this is really nice. At first, we'll make these 2 exclamation marks here to see how it sounds. Later, might replace them again with a normal thing. Okay. We have to paste the dots right here. This passenger recorded a warning. Blah, blah, blah. Just 2 hours before the crash, a passenger started recording. If you read through this and can ignore the comma, always delete it. The cabin was hot, the AC wasn't working, lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding. In this case, I'd delete this right here, this right here, and this right here, because they are not really that necessary. Later we might put them in again. What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight, delete these hyphens. These hyphens are always bad. Always delete them. Replace them maybe with a comma, but the ElevenLabs AI can't really handle them. But in hindsight, it sounds different. I think this comma we should leave because it's a really natural pause, which would sound weird if we cut it out. Okay, no commas anymore. We'll cut this out with Control X and generate the video with Control and Enter.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash.
This was too excited Doesn't sound natural.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash.
This sounds more like he's an announcer. The crash is
This passenger
something.
recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash.
It sounds too announcery, you know, like an announcer at the football stadium. This is not what we want. We want something, in this case, that's more serious, because a plane crash is really serious.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash.
This is better, and I think we'll take it, because it's like a shocked expression from the AI. It's shocked about everything. So we'll download it. Okay. Let me just go into the downloads folder. And we have downloaded a lot today. So here you can see when it was downloaded. And this was downloaded 15 o'clock. Not 50 o'clock, 3 o'clock afternoon. And this was recorded. Weird. Everything's weird. Sorry, wait a moment. This was recorded just right now. It's weird that this is in front of it. Okay. So we'll remember that. Okay, now you can press Ctrl V, Ctrl X, and Ctrl Enter.
Just 2 hours before the crash, a passenger started recording.
This is great. First try. Sounds natural, fluent, and like the voice is really explaining what is going to happen. Ctrl V, mark everything, Ctrl X, Ctrl Enter.
The cabin was hot. The AC wasn't working. Lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding.
Basically okay, but the pauses were too long, and you would have to cut them out in CapCut. So this is something which takes a while, so we'll regenerate it.
The cabin was hot. The AC wasn't working. Lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding.
Same problem here, too many pauses.
The cabin was hot. The AC wasn't working.
Too many pauses.
Lights were off. The cabin was hot. The AC wasn't working. Lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding.
This is really great. We'll remember it. We can see it in the history right here. So let's do a couple more, because they're not great.
The cabin was hot. The AC wasn't working. Lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding.
Yeah, okay. We could
The
take
cabin
it,
was hot.
but we want
The
perfection.
AC wasn't working. Lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding.
Yeah, I think this is better. In post-production, you might have to ramp up the speed here, but it's the best we're getting, I think. Okay, and same procedure again. Generate it, and
What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight, it hits different.
too slow, and the what was weird.
What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight, it hits different.
I think this is good, because he pronounces different, right?
What he says next might sound like a rant.
He pronounces rant weird, but because he talks about different. D. Sorry if it was too loud. The D in different was really, really great, because it had a lot of impact, and people now want to see the whole clip. I think I downloaded it, I don't know. Yeah. And for the last part, let's generate this.
Is this just bad timing or proof that serious problems were being ignored? Is this just bad timing or proof that serious problems were being ignored?
So here we want the AI to say it as fast as possible with as little as possible pauses, because this right here is the part where the retention graph drops drastically or goes up, because some people will write a comment and some people won't, and this is in some cases bad when they swipe away as soon as they heard a question. So we want to make the question as short as possible, so it is as little as possible of the whole video, if you know what I mean. So if the video is 80% and this is 20%, we want to make it to ideally 10%, so the video is 90% and the retention graph has 90% of the video included and not that many people swipe away. The people who respond, they don't care about the speed. So we'll try to make it as fast as possible.
Is this just bad timing or proof that serious problems were being ignored?
Ignored was pronounced weird. We don't want that.
Is this just bad timing or proof that serious problems were being ignored?
He ends with like a high pitch. He says like, ignore it. If you understand it, or ignore it. Like he has a voice crack. Ending
Is
on a
this
high
just
pitch
bad
is
timing or
weird.
proof that serious problems were being ignored?
Again, we don't want him to end on a high pitch. High pitch is when it says ignored instead of ignored. Ignored.
Is this just bad timing or proof that serious problems were being ignored?
Again.
Is this just bad timing or proof that serious problems were being
Longer
ignored?
pause.
Is this just bad timing or proof that serious problems were being ignored?
Here, I think it's good right here because the pitch of the ignored is not that high and I don't have the ambitions to make this ignored because this sometimes takes a while and I have only limited credits and you know, this sounds great. I can't really say why because I think this question is sounds like an honest question, but that is really hard for you to differentiate. So just wait until it ends on a low pitch. And I think he said it quite fast. Maybe we'll have to go to this page again if we see in CapCut that some parts were weird. So this is what we'll see soon. Okay, let's go back to this page and okay, I've now pasted the right clips. We'll go to CapCut. You know it, you love it. Create a new project, easy. If you have two screens, I'd suggest putting the folders on the left side and CapCut on the right side and the browser on the left side, but with one screen you can press Control, Alt and die vollständigen Taste. It's like the two keys over the Shift key. Okay, so then you're in this menu and you can switch quickly. This is not what we want right now. We want to cut these voice lines into pieces and arrange them perfectly. Okay, let's do this. Cut away the little part right here.
Is this just bad timing? Proof that serious...
Okay, this is the question. Question is at the end, so put it at the end.
Passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before...
Okay, the rest is in the right order. You can turn off this little thing right here. Then in the menu, you can go to Settings, Edit, and here under Target Loudness, you see YouTube -14 LUFs. We want YouTube. We don't want TikTok. We don't want default. We want YouTube. Click on Save, and then you are good to go. So we'll cut up the start right here.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash.
Okay, and now the most important thing. You see what I'm doing right here. I'll scroll in a bit. You see, here's audio and here's audio. And if you look precisely, the audio is overlapping, like 1 frame, sometimes 2 frames. Sometimes there's even like this space when they're in the natural language, there's a space. It can be 2 frames of nothing. But the most important thing right here is that you overlay these clips, that you layer the audio clips, and don't make it like this.
Just 2.
Because you hear
The crash. Just 2.
This is almost 1 whole second, and in this second, the viewer will scroll away. This is time the viewer doesn't have to spend. He doesn't want to wait for the next voice line. So make it like this, layer it so that there's like 1 or 2 frames, and then play it.
2 hours before the crash. Just 2 hours before the crash. Just 2 hours before the crash, a passenger started recording. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. Just 2 hours before the crash, a passenger started recording. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. Just 2 hours before the crash, a passenger started recording. The cabin was hot. 2 hours before the crash.
Okay, so in this incident, I'm myself really stupid sometimes. The script had it 2 times, and here is said some passenger is recording, and in this clip it is said some passenger is recording. So what do? We never say something twice, so we just delete it. Doesn't matter. We take the next clip, and now 1 clip is deleted. That's no problem, as long as we repeat ourselves.
Crash. The cabin was hot. Before the crash. The cabin was hot. Before the crash. The cabin.
Okay, interesting. Let's try to make it 1 frame shorter.
Warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot.
Perfect. Let's quickly mark this. And I'll show you on this example what we want and what we don't want. So,
before the crash. The cabin was hot. A warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot.
So, in this case, this is still okay. What's not okay is if you overlay it too much, like this.
Warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot.
He doesn't say crash and it's already finished. It's already started with talking about the next thing. We don't want it. We don't want the voice to talk over itself.
Crash. The cabin was hot. Warning 2 hours before the crash.
Maybe if you're more advanced, you can see in the audio line here. This right here is the word crash. This right here. This. And it's like k. K is always a spike. R you never see. You also don't never see, but sh is actually really quiet on something like this, and over something like sh oder t, you can always overlay it. So in this case,
for the crash, the cabin was hot.
It's okay to do it like this.
The cabin before the crash. The cabin was hot. Before the crash.
And let's make it a bit shorter.
Before the crash. The cabin was hot. Before the crash. The cabin.
You see that while it's still saying shh, the next sentence is starting. So even 1 frame before that. Okay, let's move on. What happens if the space is too big? This would be a too big space, I think. Let's play it.
Before the crash. The cabin was hot.
In this period where I'm moving my pointer right here, there's nothing happening on the audio level. And there should always be something happening on the visual level and the audio level. The audio level is half of the video. So this is a too long pause.
The cabin was.
This is a too long pause. But
crash. The cabin was.
From here on out, I'd say from here on out. I think here, this is still okay. This is okay. But with a sh, we want to layer it like this. Listen very closely.
The crash. The cabin was hot. 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot.
Great. Okay, let's continue, and I won't explain that much.
Cabin was hot. The AC wasn't. Cabin was hot. Hot. The AC. The cabin was hot. The AC wasn't. Cabin was hot. The AC was.
You see, I cut up one clip and cut out the pause.
Wasn't working. Lights were off. Hot. The AC wasn't working. Lights were off.
So in this case, there's a natural pause, and natural pauses we want to just shorten, not destroy, and not keep. We just want to shorten them, like this.
Wasn't working. Lights were off.
You hear?
AC wasn't working. Lights were off.
You might notice that
Working.
there is still a pause right here, 1-2 frames. But in this case, there would be like a second of pause. We don't want that. We want the 2 frames. Listen very closely.
AC wasn't working. Lights were off. And no
Okay. Next pause, which we'll have to cut up.
were off. And nobody from the crew was responding.
If you're faster, you can just eyeball this. But in
What
your
is-
case, you have to listen really closely.
Crew was responding. What he says next. Responding. What he says next might sound like a rant.
Okay, let's zoom into this. Ing, we can sometimes do this, but in this case, there is a natural pause, so we will make the clip right after it, so that the ing is not cut off.
Crew was responding. What he says next.
Okay, move it a little bit in front of the ing, because the is very quiet and can be overlapped. In most cases, in some not, but in most cases, yes.
Responding. What he says next might sound like a rant.
Okay, this right here is very important. Listen closely.
But-
The AI is breathing, and we don't want breathing in our video, so we have to really cut it out.
A rant. But in hindsight, a rant. But in hindsight, it hit like a rant. But in hindsight,
The problem is right here that there's a natural pause, so we still have to do it.
like a rant. But in hindsight, it hits different.
Also natural pause.
Hindsight, it hits different. Hindsight, it hits different.
Okay, and here we cut this off, and now we have the audio. This is something which we'll be concerning ourselves with later. This is the end. So mark everything and plus 10 decibels. Plus 10. The voice has to be the loudest part of the video. It's simply like that.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot, the AC wasn't working, lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding. What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight, it hits different.
Okay, what you hear right here is there's absolutely no pause, which is the most important thing.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot, the AC wasn't working, lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding. What he says next might sound like a rant.
And the AI voice isn't breathing. There are these pauses, but they don't count as a pause, because no matter how fast you would talk, you'd still make these pauses for understandability, as I just did in the sentence I just said right now. Okay, moving on to the next step. The next step is getting the clip and getting some extras. So I have provided you with a Google Drive, or your boss with a Google Drive, doesn't matter. I have it on my local PC. So we'll import this. It's really easy. Then we have some sound effects, which are quite useful, which are also in the folder. Just import them. Okay, next step. Next step is actually looking at the source video, which we are currently using all the time. No, that's the wrong tab. This tab. and looking how he did it. Analyzing the others, the competitors, is really important, especially if their video worked. So,
Just 2 hours.
what did we see in the first second?
Just 2 hours.
Think about it. What did we see in the first second? In the first second,
Just 2 hours.
we saw a whoosh.
Just 2 hours.
This voice started instantly.
Just 2 hours.
It was complemented with the zoom in.
Just 2 hours.
It's yellow. It's the clip. It shows a plane. So they already know it's about planes. And the captions are in the center. The captions are something we'll worry about later. But yeah, this is the most important thing, the hook.
Hours before the
Okay, not even 1 second in, first cut.
Just 2 hours before.
You notice with the cut something?
Just 2 hours.
There wasn't a transition. It was without a transition, but still there was a sound. Listen closely.
Just 2 hours.
There was a photograph, a shutter. The sound is called a shutter.
Before the recent air.
So, what clip is he showing here? This, you have to always inform yourself about the topic, at least a little bit. This is a clip from the plane coming down. You can search for it like with Google Images, but there is a secret to editing faster. I have already downloaded it because I made another video about it. So I know now where the clip was. This isn't the clip. I'll show you something even better. So we really quickly delete this right here, close CapCut, and go into another project where we have already done the work. So it is this right here, I think. Yeah. And in this clip, there's something really interesting. So what I wanted to show you is we press Alt-G, make it into a compound clip, save the preset, close this project, the old project, and go into our new project. Go to yours, my presets, and there we have the video. Click Shift Alt G to disassemble the compound clip.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours.
And there we have it. Really nice. In this case, we have to recover the audio of the crash.
Passenger recorded a warning 2 hours.
And arrange it right here. Take the other clip which we have. Oh, that's not the right one, sorry. Sorry, takes a while. And take this one, put it into here, cut out these weird people. And put it into here. Yeah. So let's find the scene where there is a plane shown here. Set a cut, delete this part. The stuff before that is irrelevant anyways.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours. Recorded a warning 2 hours. Warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot. This passenger recorded a warning.
Okay, let's cut out some stuff. Let's look into it and try to arrange the clips that the viewers don't have to wait for the first cut. So in this case, let's see.
This passenger recorded a warning. This passenger.
Let's look into the source.
Just 2 hours.
You see it?
Just 2 hours.
Just two.
Just 2 hours.
This passenger.
Okay, so we do it the same. We take the two first words.
This passenger. Record. This passenger. Record.
So here we set our mark, cut it off.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before. 2 hours. A warning.
Hours before the recent Air India crash, a passenger filmed the cabin's
This passenger recorded a warning. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. This passenger recorded a warning.
Let's still put the footage of the crash a little bit in the back. Let's look for the guy filming it himself. It's probably somewhere over here, yeah. There we just saw it. Copy the clip, paste it here, and scroll in.
This passenger recorded a warning. Passenger recorded a warning.
And for warning, we can take another clip. Let's look into this
concerning
first.
condition.
Just take this right here. This fits good enough. So copy, control, visible,
Warning.
and cut it. Okay.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The crash. Before the crash. The cabin was before the crash.
Okay. Cut it like this.
This passenger recorded a warning. This passenger recorded a warning. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. This passenger
Okay.
recorded.
You heard something? Each time it jumps the clips, it makes like this little pop sound. We don't want that. So we go to extract all the audio files, zoom into them, and layer them. Here,
This passenger recorded a warning.
it's just this humming. We will delete it. This humming is weird. We don't want it.
2 hours before the crash.
This is more interesting. So we'll take the clip, extend it at both sides for like 2 frames. Now we'll ease it in for 2 frames. Same thing here, 1 frame, because it's like a doof, and ease out, and we'll hear.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin. The crash.
This crash sound we can extend a bit
Before the crash. The cabin was before the crash.
and ease it out longer because it's louder.
Warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was the crash. The cabin was hot. The cabin was hot. The AC wasn't working. The cabin was hot. The AC wasn't working. Lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding. What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight, it hits different.
Okay, I'm tired myself. Let's skip to the part where he tries to activate everything. I think this clip is necessary. And we'll paste it over here. And we'll take this for the cabin crew. And let's see, maybe there's something with the lights. Yeah, here. We'll cut it up later.
Warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot, the AC wasn't working, lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding. What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight, it hits different. Cabin was hot.
What I'm doing right now is taking some clips from the video and distributing them among the intro. So the intro will be basically made out of clips, and the intro is the hardest thing to do.
The cabin was hot.
The cabin was hot. You can show him.
The cabin was hot. The AC wasn't working.
Okay, the AC wasn't working. We show him
Lights were off.
this right here, because people don't really know what the AC looks like. So they assume that it was
AC
with the screen.
Wasn't working. Lights were off. Nobody from
Okay, I take this, and nobody
from the crew was responding. What
Nobody from the crew was responding.
lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding. What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight, it hits different.
Okay. Now we have big parts of the intro. We'll mark this everything and scale the audio down because we don't need it in the intro. Also this. And look at it and look if we would watch it. Is it interesting? Does it grab attention?
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot. The AC wasn't. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot. The crash. The cabin was hot. The AC wasn't working. Lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding.
Okay, so now we have everything that we basically need.
What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight, it hits different. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. This passenger recorded a warning
Showing him 2 times is a bit repetitive.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot. The AC wasn't working. Lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding. What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight, it hits different.
AC is not working. Look at everyone. And it's
Okay, now the intro, we'll look at it later. We'll cut out the unimportant parts.
look at everyone. And it's
Is this
We'll put them at the end. This doesn't matter.
people they are so many people they are using these magazines. AC is not working.
AC is not working. Is one thing that you say. I also said it here.
AC is not working. Look at everyone.
So we won't double it and cut out this. It's a really huge chunk of the video, but it doesn't matter since we don't want repetition and we'd rather have a 20-second long video which is entertaining than a 40-second video which people don't watch to the end.
at everyone. And as usual, your TV screens are also not working. Neither this button for calling the cabin crew. Nothing is working. Nothing. Not even the light is working. See. Is this what you have? See. Nothing. Not even the light is working. See. Is this what you are providing? And as usual, that is why Air India is providing. You are providing.
Okay, here in this part, listen to it.
Is this what you are providing?
He just says, "Is this what you're providing?" And in the rest right here, he says nothing. Delete it. Nobody wants to watch this. They want to see what's wrong with the plane and him a bit ranting, but they don't want to see that.
And as usual, that is why Air India is considered as one of the worst airlines in the world.
This is really good here. One
One
of
of the
the
worst airlines in the world.
here we'll probably cut the pause out, but won't make a cut in the video, so people won't think we cut something out, even though we did. So we'll set a marker for this and make it like green or something, or purple.
Worst airlines in the world. AC is still not working at today. It is very, very, very hot in Delhi. Very, very working at today.
AC is not working, juckt nicht. Sorry, in English, AC is not working. Doesn't matter.
Still not working at today. It is very, very, very. AC is still not working at today. It is not working at today. It is very.
Today it is very, very hot. This is something we'll take. AC is not working, we already had that.
Today it is very, very, very hot in Delhi. Hot in Delhi. And it's a Dreamliner 787. And it's a Dreamliner. And it's a Dreamliner 787.
Here we'll extract it. He says, and it's a Dreamliner 787. What the fuck? We should show the plane when he says that. So let's put it under here.
And it's a Dreamliner 787.
So, like this. Here we'll extract the audio, delete it. We only need the footage. Okay. Cut the rest out because it was irrelevant anyway. He didn't say anything. Same goes for this clip. He only shows the plane. He doesn't talk. Nothing really happens here. So this doesn't matter. This really doesn't matter.
Sweat, it sounds sweat, it sounds sweating like hell. Sweat, it sounds sweat, it sounds sweating like hell. Sweating like hell.
Okay, so now I made some tidying up, rearranging the clips so that it sounds great. There is kind of a story, it isn't that boring, I cut everything out. One little thing which I didn't record right here is I took this audio and I was going to separate audio, clicking on vocals and then clicking on separate. So you can, as you see right here, I tuned the vocals up, and as you can see right here, -8 decibels, that's a lot. I tuned the surrounding sounds down, and now we have this. Look at it, analyze it, and I'll say what is still wrong with this version, which has been heavily edited, and we'll see how we can fix it.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot, the AC wasn't working, lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding. What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight, it hits different.
AC is not working. Look at everyone. And we are here for the last 15 minutes. Nothing happening. And as usual, your TV screens are also not working. Neither this button for calling the cabin crew. Nothing is working. Nothing. Today it is very, very, very hot in Delhi. I'm sweating like hell. And it's a Dreamliner 787. And as usual, that is why Air India is considered as one of the worst airlines in the world.
Is this just bad timing or proof that serious problems were being ignored?
So what you see right here is that I have made a 42-second video out of a 2 minutes video. The problem here is that there are no sound effects and no moving parts, no real value added. So what we'll do is here, this is the only clip that comes from us. So we'll add some arrows and sound effects in this area. In this area, the problem was, as you can hear, there's like a pop. What is this pop? This pop comes through the attack speed. So the attack speed is how fast something is getting louder. So in this case, we extend it by 1 frame and lengthen it by 1 frame. Not working currently. I know what, it's not working because we separated vocals and audio, but listen to this.
Hot in Delhi. I'm sweating like hell. And it should.
Yeah, that's the reason. So in this case, yeah, we can do it like on the right side.
And it's a dream. And it's.
You hear it's not that much of a click anymore. Normally you would overlap them and let them fade into one another.
That is why Air India is considered as one of the worst airlines in the world.
Is this just bad time?
Okay.
The AC wasn't working, lights, nobody from the crew. He says next might.
AC is not working. Look. AC is not working. Look at everyone. And we are.
Yeah, this click, this is very annoying. So we'll make a little bit of fade.
Everyone. And we are.
And here,
everyone. And
you can't hear a click anymore. So 1 frame fade in here, that's enough in most cases.
Everyone. And we are here for the last 15 minutes. Nothing happening. And as usual, your TV screens are also not working. Neither this button for calling the cabin crew. Nothing is working. Today it is very, very hot in Delhi. I'm sweating like hell. And it's a dream.
Okay, great. Enough. Now we are finished with the clip. Right here, in the end.
Is this just bad timing or proof that serious problems were being ignored?
This is okay. This hasn't. This is something I haven't really looked at, so maybe we'll improve it later. But I think the main part is finished. So let's look at the other part.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot, the AC wasn't working, lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding. What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight, it hits different.
Okay, here we basically can't do anything. We will make this a little bit bigger, so it won't get copyrighted. So these clips, yeah, this a tiny little bit bigger. Sometimes it helps. I don't know why I just do it because I think
Neither this
It's
this
helping.
This pass
But yeah, here, what can we do? Always we can do sound effects and something else. So let's analyze it.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash.
Here's still a problem. You see,
A warning 2 hours.
this sound effects starts too late.
Recorded a warning 2 hours. Recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot.
Okay, nice.
This passenger recorded a warning. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot. 2 hours before the crash.
Okay, here we can do something I do with most videos, which is a riser. This riser is in the Google Drive. Edit, put it at the end here. Extend it. Sometimes you have to regulate the voice. Then you, oh no, that's the thing. Then you take this swoosh, adjust the speed accordingly so that this swoosh right here is as long as the transition. And let's look into it.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot. Before the crash. The cabin. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was.
Okay, great.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was.
This is
Before the
a
crash. The
really short version of it. Like you should always make it like 2 times speed or something like that. I made it really fast because the pause between the two voice lines is so short.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin. The crash. The cabin. 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot. The AC wasn't working. Lights were off. Hours before the crash. The cabin was. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours. This passenger recorded a warning.
So here we can add a circle, so it's more original. This is something you'll have to do. We can zoom in a bit, so the plane is bigger. Bigger is always better, as long as it's not so pixelated, but in this circumstance it doesn't really matter. And now what we'll do is we'll manually drag this in and let it fade out. Fade out we'll do with the blend function, add a keyframe, go to the end, add a keyframe, set it to 0%. Okay, now what we'll do next, go to the first frame, add a keyframe. You know how to add a keyframe. Then the next thing we'll do is first stabilize the plane, because the plane is moving across the screen. We don't really want that. So we add a keyframe here and a keyframe here, moving it to the middle of the screen. Of course, there will be some movement, but generally the plane is now in the middle of the screen. We'll move the red circle accordingly, so that's nice. Then here's the plane, and yeah, sounds about right.
Warning 2 hours. A warning 2 hours.
Okay, what you might see, it's a bit
Warning 2 hours.
It shouldn't move around like that. That's bad. So what I did wrong is that I didn't really use a reference point. So from now on we'll do that. We'll say this part of the circle should always match up with this part of the plane, like the wing. So we'll go here and right here. This should be fitting. Now this is fitting too. And yeah, here you can scale it down a bit. And yeah.
Warning 2 hours before the crash.
Let's look at it again.
A warning 2 hours before. Reported a warning 2 hours before the crash. Reported a warning 2 hours before. Reported a warning 2 hours before the. Reported a warning 2 hours before.
So this is basic tracking. This is what I expect from you. This is the minimum. Now we could also go in and track this even further by looking how it's changing. This is too much movement. So yeah, here it's moving too much since the scale is being adjusted for some reason. We don't really want that. Yeah, it's okay for now. I don't
This
have the time
passenger-
right now. I have to learn for
You
you.
recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. Warning 2 hours before the crash. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before. Passenger recorded a warning.
So another thing is the red circle shouldn't appear right here at the start of the clip. It should always appear a bit delayed. So like this.
A warning 2 hours. A warning 2 hours.
And what do we notice?
Warning.
There is no sound effect. So for circles, always use either ding or plop. In this case, I'll first test plop because it's not that loud.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours. Warning 2. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours. Warning 2 hours. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the warning 2 hours. Recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. You recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. Recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. Before the crash.
Okay, and now we'll add transition sounds. We'll quickly go to audio and go to favorites. Let's try this, but I think there's better audios. We'll now do shutters as transitions. So we'll seek for shutter and look through them. They shouldn't be that loud, but they should be good. This is too long. This is too long. This sounds weird. This sounds okay. Weird, weird. 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 Yeah.
Passenger record.
I think we might use this one. Let's see.
This passenger recorded a warning.
So match it up.
Warning. Recorded a warning. This passenger recorded a warning. This passenger recorded a warning. Crash hours before the crash.
We have this one.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot before the crash. The cabin. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot. The AC wasn't. The cabin was hot.
Okay. So the next thing we'll do, I'll put this in the sound file, is using, I'll give you all my sound effects, is using the whoosh. The whoosh mark D'Angelo is the best one for like really quick things. The whoosh 104582, which we'll probably use here.
The AC wasn't working.
It's like a deep whoosh, which is very subtle, but gives a sense of quality, so we'll use it a lot. But what we won't do is just use it a lot, because you might hear it. if we use it a lot, it gets repetitive. Bad.
It's hot. The AC wasn't working. Lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding. What he says next. Hot. The AC
It sounds weird. You understand me, hopefully.
cabin was hot. The AC
So we use it once,
crashed. The cabin was hot. The AC was.
too early.
The AC was hot. The AC wasn't working.
Okay, let's use another one like this. Maybe this fits.
Lights were wasn't working. Lights were off. Working.
No, this isn't fitting. This is like more of a motion if something moves across the screen.
Lights
Yeah. Same thing. This is when something is moving out of the screen.
were off and wasn't working. Lights were off. And nobody were off and nobody from the crew was responding. What he says next might sound like responding. What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight it hits different.
AC.
Okay, here we can use the swoosh again, but this time we'll change up the speed to about 2 times.
It's different.
AC is not
Different.
AC.
Different.
AC.
Different.
AC.
Different.
Okay, here we'll add a transition. There is a lot of transitions. I usually really like to use pull in, rotate, and left or blink. Blink is when you have like a camera shutter. So let's use
Light,
pull
it hits different.
rotate.
Hits different.
AC is not working.
This
Light,
is,
it
like,
hits
really great.
different.
AC is not working.
This is, you can use it in a lot of cases.
Look at everyone, and we are here for the last.
In this part, I wouldn't really over edit. Doesn't matter. It is just time waste. If you want, you can do it, but it's not that important. If you look at the whole timeline, you may notice this part, the first 15 seconds, are the most edited.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot, the AC wasn't working, lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding. What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight, it hits and nobody
This sounds weird.
were off, and nobody from the crew.
This sounds weird, so let's replace it. It sounds a bit off-putting. So let's try this whoosh. Adjust it so it's subtle.
Wasn't working. Lights were off, and nobody off and nobody from the work.
Okay, doesn't work. What we could also use as a transition is mouse click. Very classic.
Off, and nobody were off, and
Okay.
the cabin was hot, the AC wasn't working, lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding. What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight, it hits different.
AC is not working.
Okay. This is what I want to see. We want to watch through the video right now. Obviously, what I did right here is just take another clip and do some basic editing. This is the stuff which I do when I don't have a lot of time, and this is the minimum I expect from you. This is like the commentary niche. I also want to do original stuff with you guys, so this is a whole nother game. But for learning the basics and learning to work with me, this is what you want to do. Let's watch through the clip and look for any mistakes, something that sounds off, and yeah. If we find something, we'll change it, but if not, we won't.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot, the AC wasn't working, lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding. What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight, it hits different.
AC is not working. Look at everyone, and we are here for the last 15 minutes. Nothing happening. And as usual, your TV screens are also not working. Neither this button for calling the cabin crew. Nothing is working. Nothing. Today it is very, very, very hot in Delhi. I'm sweating like hell. And it's a Dreamliner 787. And as usual, that is why Air India is considered as one of the worst airlines in the world.
Is this just bad timing or proof that serious problems were being
In the world.
Okay, I think I would have at least swiped away here. So be honest with yourself. You can ask me about stuff like that, but I would delete this. This is unnecessary and will just kill retention, even though we have invested a lot of work there. But we have to do this sometimes. And another thing I saw, it was...
Nothing.
where was it?
And as usual, that neither this, but nothing. Today it is very, very, very hot in Delhi. I'm sweating like hell. And it's a dreamline.
So this right here, you can change it up. Here. Let's do a cut. This weird...
Sweating like hell. And
this cut is weird. So let's try to extend it on the other side.
in Delhi. I'm sweating like hell. And
This is perfect. That there was a longer part of the clip. So the audio doesn't match what is happening right now, but that's not bad because he isn't showing his mouth. Okay, let's look at it once again.
This passenger.
Wait, there was something bad. There wasn't an intro. How do we do it? Usually you can do it with an animation, for example. Let's look.
This passenger.
Looks weird.
This passenger recorded. This passenger.
Okay.
This passenger.
Interesting. There is hopefully
This
something better. Also bad.
This passenger. This passenger. This passenger.
This is good, I think. This sound looks like something is happening.
This passenger.
This doesn't look that great.
This passenger. This passenger.
I think shake 3 is the best shake in this situation. There's a lot of other stuff which you also can use. Stuff with like lag is often not that great, or with overly images.
This passenger recorded a.
Look here, this is buggy.
This passenger.
We don't want that. Yeah, I think this was the best. Shake.
This
3.
passenger.
Shake 3 sounds good, but we have to supplement it with something like a swoosh or...
This passenger.
Yeah, let's use the mouse click. It always works.
This passenger. This passenger recorded a warning. This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot, the AC wasn't working, lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding. What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight, it hits different.
AC is not working. Look.
Okay, I think it's great. Now we have fixed all errors and have pretty much done anything we could. The success of this video is just the clip by itself. Now we have done everything we could, and for this right here I would pay. Yeah, so let's export it. I always call them 1v1, but in the document I have given you a name how you should call them. Then we will go to our folder, create something like product. It's for organizing, so it's easier. Select folder, check H264 is what we want to use, bitrate higher, resolution 180p, MP4, 30 FPS, and yeah, the rest doesn't matter. Check copyright isn't really necessary. We can do it, but it doesn't matter.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin.
So, okay, now we have it. 33 seconds. That's really, really nice. Wait, 43 seconds. That's a bit too much. Let me look. Sometimes it's like weird. Yeah. We can see right here. This shouldn't be there. And yeah, we export it again. Export. Replace.
This passenger recorded.
Okay. And now we go into Submagic. So if you don't have Submagic, here's the point where you just upload it. No problem. But if you have Submagic, I'll go through this. So I have to tell you, from this point on, you don't have to watch any further if you just do the editing. This is just the subtitles right now. I'll explain them. Okay. So we'll drop our file right here. Generate captions, English, and so on. Just copy everything that's right here. Transfer, then it's taking a bit. Okay, now the video is uploaded and so on. Mostly we use two types of subtitles. The first one is this one right here, like it's Mr. Beast style, and the second one is
It was hot.
this.
The AC wasn't working. Lights were.
I'll show you how they look, so you can copy them. Font family, this is like for more serious stuff, which we will probably use here. And the other one is more for entertaining stuff and everything else. This is like when something is tense, or when something is hard to hear, or when something bad is gonna happen, or something like that, when the viewers feel tension. Yeah. Okay. Font family, Montserrat. Font weight, black, uppercase, yes. Size 36. We will change that sometimes. Font color, white. Stroke weight, large. Stroke color, and so on. Just copy it. The other one, here. Comic axis, bold, yes. And for the emojis, no animation, and free captions, no. Yeah, that's basically it. Now we'll sometimes I also use this. This is basically the same. It's a bit different. Yeah, you can just also show it. This is how it looks. And maybe
Were off, and nobody from the crew was responding.
we will, I think, use this one.
What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight, it hits
Okay, and we'll change up the colors to pink, red, and blue.
different.
AC is not working. Look at him.
Okay, edit captions. So normally with the other thing, I think for you, remove all emojis or turn emojis off. We don't want that because, yeah, I don't know how your understanding of meme cultures and so on. So it doesn't matter whether we have emojis or not.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot. The AC was.
Okay, hot will make red, the cabin will make blue, so everything technical will make blue, and the other stuff we will make red. If it's very important or dangerous or invokes an emotion, we mostly make it red. If there is too many red things, we'll also use pink. If women say something, we use pink. If men say something, we use blue, but the main character always uses white voices. So like in this case, the Indian guy will only use white stuff. So white words. We'll only use the colored words for the intro.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot. The AC wasn't working. Lights were off, and no.
So what you see here, off, and in between that is a pause. So we'll click on split line. If you're not sure if that's a pause or not, always click on split line. This is really important so the captions look clean. And this is something no AI can do.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash.
Like the cabin is something you say without a pause in between.
Cabin was hot, the AC wasn't working, lights were off.
AC we'll make pink. This is already
The cabin
blue.
was hot, the AC wasn't working, lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding.
Crew will make blue because it's not really a pink.
The crew was responding. What he said from the crew was responding. Were off, and nobody from the crew was responding.
And here we could use pink.
Was responding. What he says next might sound like a rant.
Rant has a negative connotation, so we'll make it red.
A rant, but in hindsight,
We make it blue. It hits different. And sometimes at the end of a sentence you can use an exclamation mark. Behind all questions, I want you to make a question mark. Like this is a question mark. But only after a question. Okay.
different.
AC is not working. Look at
AC is okay. I would split it just in case. I would also split this.
It hits different.
AC is not working. Look at everyone, and we are
And yeah, just split
at
it.
everyone, and we are
Make this a tiny bit longer.
everyone, and we are here for the last 15 minutes. Nothing happening.
No color.
Nothing happening. And as usual, your TV screens are also not working. Neither this button
Remove all the color.
for calling the cabin crew. Nothing is working. Nothing is working. Nothing. Today it is very, very, very hot in Delhi.
So here's the word missing. That's why I want to make the captions like you guys. I don't want to underestimate you, but you could miss something like that and it's like unnecessary.
Very, very, very hot in Delhi. But it's
So C is a question. So question.
but it sounds nothing. Today it is very, very, very hot in Delhi. But it's I'm sweating like hell. Button for calling the cabin crew. Nothing is working. Nothing. Today it is very, very, very hot in Delhi. But it's I'm sweating like hell.
Remove the color.
Hell. And it's a Dreamliner.
Let's remove the word and write it down here. Remove the color. So
It's a Dreamliner 7.
okay.
I'm sweating like hell. And it's a Dreamliner 7. It's
So they are overlapping. That is something we don't want, which happens sometimes with CapCut.
I'm sweating like hell. And it's a Dreamliner 787. And as usual, that is why Air India is considered as one of the worst airlines. The worst airlines in the world.
Okay.
World.
Now we have done everything. We'll look through it once again once we have exported it. So I'll export it, and yeah. Okay, now we have exported the video. We'll download it and send it to me. Please, if you would be so nice, copy this stuff if you did the subtitles and put it into a text document and also send it to me, so I can use it to make the other stuff. But yeah, that's about it. You can download the video here if you click on download, and then open it and have a look at it. Okay.
This passenger recorded a warning 2 hours before the crash. The cabin was hot, the AC wasn't working, lights were off, and nobody from the crew was responding. What he says next might sound like a rant, but in hindsight, it hits different.
AC is not working. Look at everyone. And we are here for the last 15 minutes. Nothing happening. And as usual, your TV screens are also not working. Neither this button for calling the cabin crew. Nothing is working. Nothing. Today it is very, very, very hot in Delhi. I'm sweating like hell. And it's a Dreamliner 787. And as usual, that is why Air India is considered as one of the worst airlines in the world.
Okay, nice. This is a 39-second long video. The last part, if you did the subtitles, is that you do something that Submagic always messes up. So you take the video, click on I on your keyboard, and then you go here, extract the audio. Oh, this was the wrong one. Sorry. This is the right one. Click again on I and go to the back here. Submagic has something which is really sneaky. I think it's to prevent AI slop. But yeah, you could see right here, this second it kills retention, cut it out.
In the world.
Now you can export it, choose a cool title like given in the document, but I will choose anything right now. So like this, export it
This passenger
into the same folder, the products folder, and yeah, we can now go here and look into it. You have done it. This is what I want. If you send this to me, I will pay you or give you criticism. Then you would have to go probably in CapCut again and do some stuff over. But I hope this won't be happening too much. But yeah, I think this video has been extensive enough on the process of creating a video. And I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you have a nice day at work. And I think this video will help your further career, since I have shown a lot of tips and tricks which level up your editing and will improve your further career. Yeah, my English wasn't that great, okay, but I think this is enough for today. Have a nice day, start editing, and goodbye.